Suppose we collect the following data from a survey of 70 JU students. A partial table of the data is shown here. This data is a random sample. The sample represents only a portion of the population. In this example, the population would include data from every student at JU. Again, we mentioned before that it's often typical that we are unable to survey the entire population. But our hope and the goal is that our random sample is large enough and representative of what's happening at the population level. Let's suppose we want to know the mean or average amount of sleep JU students get a night. And we also want to know the percentage of JU students who are female. Since it's unlikely that we will be able to survey the whole population of JU students, we use statistics from the sample to estimate the corresponding parameter for the population. So what are statistics? Statistics are characteristics that describes the sample. Parameters, on the other hand, are characteristics that describe the population. Let's look at a few statistics from the data table. Suppose we calculated the average number of hours of sleep per night from all 70 students and found that the mean or average amount of sleep per night is 6.5 hours. This number, 6.5 hours, is called the sample mean and is considered a statistic because it describes the mean amount of sleep from the sample of 70 students. Another statistic is the proportion of students who are female. So let's suppose that out of the 70 students, 45 of them are female. Then the proportion or percentage of the sample that are female is 45 out of 70, or that's the same thing as 0.643 or 64.3%. This value is called a sample proportion, and it is also a statistic because it describes the sample. The notation that we use to write a sample mean is the symbol x bar. So the sample mean can be written as x bar equals 6.5 hours. The notation that represents a sample proportion is the symbol p hat. So here, the sample proportion can be written as p hat equals 0.643. If we wanted to know the mean amount of sleep that all JU students get, meaning we want to know the mean value of the population, then we would need to survey the entire JU population. The mean amount of sleep for the population is called a parameter. We can also find the percentage of all JU students who are female. This proportion is also a type of parameter because it describes the population. There's also a notation for parameters. The notation for the population mean is the Greek letter mu, written as mu. The notation for the population proportion is simply the letter p. Mu and p, again, are called parameters. There are many other statistics and parameters that we can explore, such as standard deviation, variance, range, and size. You'll learn in later units that we can use our sample statistics to estimate for unknown population parameters. We'll explore how confidence intervals help us estimate these unknown population parameters with some level of accuracy and precision in later units.